Alright, question number 1 comes from John Hansen. Did you eventually try Don Vito's formula drink of protein shake and beer after that episode of Viva La Bam was filmed? No, I never tried Don Vito's formula drink of protein shake and beer. Why would you drink that? It's I guess in Vito's warped mind, he thought he was having a beer and doing something good for himself at the same time by putting some protein shake in there. It looked disgusting, and no, I never tried it. Do you know how fucking lucky you are? Pennywise is badass, and they are an awesome group of guys. Hell yeah. That comes from Rachel Doden. Well, yeah, of course I know how lucky I am. I mean, I booked Pennywise, I invited them to be a part of my show. Yeah, and the fact that they said yes, and the fact that they're going to be a part of the first annual Glory Bound Festival, I think it's, it's really cool for me and a real honor to have them be a part of it. Yeah, Rachel, I kind of tuned into just how cool it is. Next question comes from Richard Mendoza. He wants to know, how has my family influenced me in growing as a person? And have you changed from your younger days to now? I've changed. It's called growing up and growing. And I've definitely done a lot of that. But really, in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm still like the same guy, the same kid, the same 14-year-old kid that discovered skateboarding and fell in love with it and fell in love with punk rock music. I don't feel much different. The biggest difference is as I get older, I have to urinate a lot more often. That's pretty much the only real change as I've aged, other than, some thinning hair and a lot of lines cut into my face. Other than that, I feel like the same kid that discovered skateboarding and fell in love with it. How has your family influenced you in growing as a person? I don't know. I'm not really quite sure how to answer that. I mean, family has always come first for me. So my wife and my kids, they're a priority. We operate as a family first. And so everything else I do, and I do a lot of stuff, from music to skateboarding to all these other projects I invest myself in, they all matter to me too, and they're all a major part of who I am. Those on their own don't mean anything really without my family and the support of my family. So I feel like a real complete human being, chasing my dreams, turning my dreams into action and reality, but also, having a great home and family life too. Did you ever find Animal Chin? Mike? The search is a daily search. You wake up in the morning and you're searching for Animal Chin. And what you find out through your life is the search is the destination. You go looking for Chin and you found Chin. That's how it works. Maybe you should watch that movie again, buddy. Alright, Christy Lynn Jarvis Anderson says, I know you're a badass and hardcore. I've seen when you beat the shit out of 5 dudes at once. But have you ever lost your nerve to do a skate trick? And if so, what trick was it? There's only 4 guys that I beat the shit out of at once. But you could have thrown an extra guy in there and I would have handled him too. But no, I've never really lost my nerve when it comes to skating at all. I think when you lose your nerve is when you stop really being a progressive skater, or as far as being a pro skater, you kind of stop being relevant to some extent. So I found that my nerve and my balls really that's the measuring stick. It's when you're afraid of getting hurt, when you think about getting hurt, that's when you should probably throw in the towel as far as really pushing yourself. I feel like the older I get, the more intensified I get, and I don't plan on like mellowing out or slowing down with age. I plan on going hard to the grave, so that's where I'm coming from. Darren Fitzsimmons asks, are you still friends with Don Vito? Well, I'm still friends with Bam, and he's got a great family, and I've always been friendly with his family, his mom and his dad, and I guess you can include Vito as part of that, but it's a TV show. Me and Vito were never really friends, like buddies. Like us hanging out on the TV show is us hanging out on the TV show. We didn't actually really form an alliance against Bam and the CKY guys. That's called entertainment. I don't know that I could be friends with Vito and hang out with Vito. In a way, yeah, I'm still friends with Vito because I'm still friends with Bam, and I think he's got a great family. So, all right, next question. Liz Venzer says, "How bad does it really hurt? In a split second, it could be ouch. Must take a lot of skill, motivation, and guts. Keep up the action. Wish I could be there." Wish you could be there. Wish you could be at the Glory Bound event. Yeah, wish you could be there too, Liz. As far as does it really hurt, I'm assuming what you're talking about here is when you eat shit skating. Of course it hurts. At a very young age, decided that falling was just came with the territory. It was part of being a skateboarder, and I never let that stop me from having fun and progressing. And I also found out that I have a fairly high pain tolerance, and I think that it's not like I have a high pain tolerance because I'm superhuman or something stupid like that. I have a high pain tolerance because I accept it. I don't have an issue with it. I'm gonna fall, I'm gonna get hurt, I'm gonna get banged up, I'm gonna get bruised up, I'm gonna bleed, I'm gonna need stitches, I'm gonna need to get a plate and screws in my ankle, I'm gonna need to get surgery. These things happen, and I could focus on that, and I could think about that, and I could let that become a barrier between me and the actual living of my life, which involves me riding a skateboard and pushing myself. But I choose not to. I choose not to let that be a barrier, or to let that stand in the way between me and what needs to get done. If you had to choose between skating, acting, and doing music, which would you pick? I absolutely fucking hate hypothetical questions. Like, oh dude, would you pick skating or music if you had to make a choice? I don't have to make a choice. I write the script. It's my life. Skating, music, acting, what else they got on here? All that stuff. I choose to do it. So, if I had to choose, which I don't have to do, I choose to say, stop asking me stupid questions. How often do you get recognized? I don't know. I get recognized. It's like I signed up for the job. It happens. How many tattoos do you have? Who really cares? So the next question is, why did you start skating? I started skating because the first time I saw a skateboard magazine, I just recognized it as being something cooler than anything else I'd ever seen. It was you see a baseball glove and a ball, or you see a football, or you see a hockey stick and a puck. It's understood, it's structured, it's a game. When you see a skateboard for the first time, it represents, I think, something so much more, and I think it represents freedom. And when I saw a skateboard for the first time, that's what it represented to me. Something I could do on my own, for myself, without any rules, without any coaches, without needing to rely on anybody else. Just express myself completely. It was a life changer. It was a life changer discovering skateboarding. It was the beginning of me being myself and getting tuned into myself. So it was a heavy thing. It was a heavy thing to discover skateboarding. And the why did you start is just like, I don't know, it's just like I had to. Why did you decide to do the show with Pennywise and Alkaline Trio? The Glory Bound Festival, to me, it's about skate culture and punk rock culture. A lot of what's happening today is just kind of filler, it's just kind of fluff. It really lacks soul. And I feel like skateboarding and punk rock music and the cultures, they're sacred. They're very sacred to me. So I wanted to work with bands, and I wanted to work with skaters who I thought carried that torch of what the real spirit of punk rock and what the real spirit of skateboarding is. And so I identified Pennywise and Alkaline Trio as bands who carried that torch and were about the right things. So that's kind of why I targeted Pennywise and Alkaline Trio. What's your parenting style? I really don't have a parenting style. The way I live my life is of living in the moment and embracing the moment. So whether I'm doing a performance on my skateboard or playing in my band, or I'm here at home with my family, with my kids, I try to live in the moment and give myself entirely to that moment. So, you know, that's my style of living my life, and I think it's it keeps things fresh and interesting and real. What are your favorite bands? Music that I like is music that has proven to stand the test of time. Most of the stuff that I like is stuff I grew up with, Kiss to AC/DC to, you know, early punk and hardcore stuff, from The Clash to Black Flag, Minor Threat, Suicidal Tendencies. But I'm a big fan of, you know, singer-songwriter stuff and rock and roll stuff like Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty. So musicians I really admire. So you know, my tastes can be somewhat eclectic. But as far as bands go, I think, you know, some greatest bands of all time are probably The Clash, AC/DC, Black Flag, Black Sabbath. Those are some of my all-time favorites. So thanks for your time. Thanks for the questions. I'm really looking forward to November 13th at the Hollywood Palladium, Mike V's first annual Glory Bound Festival. Pennywise, Alkaline Trio, Authority Zero, Nations of Fire, my band Revolution Mother, plus the legends of skateboarding. Tony Alva, Dave Hackett, Steve Olson, Salva, Caballero, Hosoi, Lance Mountain, Eddie Reddicke, Dave Duncan, Ben Schroeder, Dune. Does it get any better? We'll see you there at the Palladium.